La representante Suzan DelBenne, presidenta del Comité de Campaña Demócrata del Congreso o DCCC, concedió una entrevista en su oficina en Washington, D.C. sobre la estrategia para las elecciones intermedias de 2026.
Thank you again for doing this. This is very important, especially the moments that we are facing, because midterms are going to be huge this year, many on the table, many things. So we talked in 2024, if you remember, we were in Chicago.
Yes,
talking
I
about
remember.
this. Yeah, we talked about many issues. From then to now, how do you evaluate Democrats on the electoral process, and what are the challenge for 2026?
Well, I think if I look at the House specifically, in 2024, you might remember we actually picked up seats as Democrats in the House. We picked up seats because we had great candidates, especially in these swing districts, these purple districts, who were talking about the issues that matter on the ground. In fact, we had 14 Democrats who won in seats that Donald Trump also won in 2024. So that is really, the learning from that has been important as we look to 2026. The power of having great candidates talking about the issues that matter, who are authentic and independent minded. Those are the folks who win in these swing districts. And we're keeping that in mind as we recruit great candidates for 2026.
The evaluation for 2026 consider what happened in 2025 in November, because there was a huge competition. Democrats picked many places, positions in the states, important states, and like it was significant winnings. So
well, we've seen since November of 2024, Democrats have been running about 13 points ahead of Republicans in special elections across the country, whether it's in special congressional races, state legislators, state Supreme Courts, governors' races. Democrats are running ahead, and it's because people are seeing what's happened with policies from this administration, from Republicans in Congress, and it's impacting them directly. That's why folks are looking for folks who are going to stand up for them.
It's my understanding that you already know what will be the most competitive districts for this year. So can you talk about a little bit about these districts? What is the plan? Maybe you can give us details about all of them, because it's my understanding there are many. But please
Yes.
Navigate.
So we have two important categories of districts. First, we have the districts we need to defend. And I'm talking here about purple districts across the country, the places where the majority will be decided. We need 3 more seats to take back the majority. But first, we have to keep the important seats that we hold today. We have 24 people we call our frontliners. Those are Democratic members of Congress in tough districts across the country. Folks like Vicente Gonzalez, Gabe Vasquez, Nellie Poe in New Jersey, who won in purple districts and we need to make sure are reelected, and who are doing a good job. The reason they won is because they are strong representatives of their community, and we're talking directly to voters about issues that matter. Then we need to pick up new seats, flip seats from red to blue. So we have 39 of those districts across the country where we have opportunities to pick up seats. Again, we only need 3 to take back the majority. Places like South Texas, Texas 15 and Bobby Pulido, places like in southern Arizona where we have Joe Mendoza running against Juan Ciscomani. She's an incredible candidate. We have a great opportunity to pick up a seat there. So when we look at these seats across the country, we have 39 of those. Those are the districts that are going to help deliver a majority.
You talk about purple districts. People, they don't understand. What does that mean? Can you explain a little more?
Absolutely. So when we talk about purple districts, we mean they're divided. They have Republicans and Democrats. So when you mix red and blue, you get purple. So when you have lots of kind of equal numbers of Democrats and Republicans, these are the purple districts, the swing districts. Many of our districts across the country are very strongly partisan, either very Democratic and blue or very Republican and red. But the swing districts, these purple districts, these are the ones where the majority is decided. Those are the ones that are the important targets on our map.
Yeah. So what will be the main issues to address during these campaigns?
The number one issue across the country is affordability. People are seeing prices go up on housing, food, childcare, healthcare, energy costs, and those prices all going up directly because of actions from this president and Republicans in Congress. The president promised people he would lower costs on day one, and that has been a big broken promise. People have seen his policies on tariffs, his policies cutting health care, have impacted families across the country, and prices are going up. And so when people are struggling to afford food, a place to live, health care, that's the number one issue that you would expect them to see when they look at their pocketbook and it's harder and harder to get by and to support their family. That's what people are voting on. We've been very focused on affordability, talking about how important it is for people to have affordable health care across the country, talking about the work we should do to make sure that costs of food and housing are going down. I mean, Trump put these tariffs in place that have raised costs across the country, gutting health care, Republicans voting for that. All of their policies directly have raised prices on American families.
What about immigration and civil rights?
Immigration, Trump said he was going to go after the worst of the worst. This is not what we have seen across the country. Across the country, we're seeing ICE agents in masks, not even identifying themselves, detaining people without due process, children, seniors, what we've seen in Minnesota, the violence there, it's been horrific across the country. This is not at all what people voted for, even people who voted because they wanted to see changes to immigration policy. They thought he was going to go after the worst of the worst, not attack family members and community members in places all across the country. We know people reject this. This is not what they voted for. We know that over half of Latino voters in our battleground districts disagree with Trump policies on immigration. This has been a big change. This is not what people voted for. It absolutely will impact elections.
So how important do you think the Latino vote will be for 2026?
The Latino vote is critical. It's not something to be taken for granted. Every single vote has to be earned, but it is critical because we have districts where the Latino vote is going to have a major say in who's elected in those districts. And top issues, affordability, a top issue of immigration and immigration reform. That's true across the country, but absolutely also true with Latino communities. And people want representatives who are going to stand up for them, who are not rubber stamps for Donald Trump.
Even though that you will be focused, because we are talking about the election in districts, and of course people there, the connection is the first elect officials that they have connect with. So domestic issues are important. But do you think that foreign agenda at the moment is going to be an issue, or it won't be important? Because we are seeing everything is changing at this moment. In some polls that we are running, people are having conversations about what is happening internationally from the United States perspective.
So all across the country, as you look at districts, sometimes different issues pop up in different ways. The number one issue consistently across the country is affordability. We've definitely heard folks saying, where's the emphasis on making sure that we are focused on affordability for families? What are we doing to lower costs for families, to make our communities safer? That has not been the focus of this administration, and we continue to hear that from people all across the country. No leadership, no planning. It has been chaos and dysfunction, and so people want leaders who are going to put sound policy in place that's going to help families across the country. And sound policy for foreign policy is also important, and we've not seen the administration also talk about their plans or what they're doing internationally. But the number one issue across the country, again, is affordability, making sure that people in our communities are able to thrive economically and that our communities are safe.
Let's finish with this. What is your advice for voters to make sure their voice is heard?
So the way for folks' voices to be heard is to be engaged, involved, understand the issues, speak out, look who's running in your district and engage. but make sure you vote, a number one issue. So we have been engaged very early. We have a program called Our Power, Our Country, which is where we've made investments early on to make sure we're engaging with communities and communities of color across the country. We've made our earliest investments ever, making sure that people are getting accurate information, understand what their current representatives are doing, understand and get to know candidates that are running. This is critically important, and we want to make sure that we're getting information to voters in a way that works best for them, in the language that works best for them. So that's been an important investment of ours, something that we did in 2024, but something we are learning from what we did there and building on that in 2026 to make sure we're turning out vote and engaging, and definitely engaging with Latino communities across the country.
Thank you for this conversation.
Thank you.